But I got admission and I came home and I just told my father I've joined LSR, I'll do English honors. And he didn't say a word to me. He just went to his bedroom. When setbacks happen, they do happen to everyone.
Yeah.
Life doesn't go smoothly for anyone. Whatever you may see on social media, whatever you may see anywhere, it doesn't go smoothly for anyone.
Yeah.
She came to me. She was, I think, in the ninth standard or 10. She says, I'm going to commit suicide in the next week.
Oh my
I
God.
said, why? I
Huh.
said, why? So she says, I'm just telling you. I said, why? She says, my mom doesn't let me thread my upper lip, and all the boys laugh at me in the school. I can't come to school any longer.
Oh
Can
my
you
God.
imagine?
Oh my God. Hi, Balesh, and welcome to the AboutHer Show. This is a show where we get trailblazing women to share the story of their lives with us, to tell us about their journey, ups and downs, successes, failures, all of it, so that not only do they get to showcase themselves, they also help us to inspire women who are listening in. Women who have dreams, ambitions, aspirations, but for some reason have not been able to pursue them. So we feel that this way we can motivate them to follow their dreams. And then we also get men on the show, men who champion such trailblazing women, because we feel that for a truly gender inclusive world, men and women need to be allies on this journey. So a very, very warm welcome to you.
Thank you, Sangeeta, for having me here. I'm actually very happy because what you stand for is close to my heart. Empowering women and helping them, supporting them. I think that's something very nice you're doing.
Thank you so much. So let's just dive in with an icebreaker. And if you could tell us a little bit about your early life, your childhood, your parents, and then your journey thereafter, and of course, getting into the space of medicine and then writing.
Well, I'm the only sister. I have three brothers.
Okay.
So, as I've mentioned in my book, I was a really pampered one. And my father already had decided that I would become a doctor. I think right from day one when I was born, it was already decided. Although I love literature and I used to paint and I used to write poetry and short stories for Femina. Even as a teenager, I was writing a lot. And it was like, I was in an ISC school, I was in a convent. So in ISC, I got the highest marks in English literature in Asia.
Wow.
So it was natural. I wanted to join LSR and they invited me to join. And those days, LSR was like very difficult to get into, And so, but I got admission and I came home and I just told my father I've joined LSR, I'll do English honors. And he didn't say a word to me. He just went to his bedroom. Parents were just that way those days. He didn't say a word. He just retired into his bedroom and he came out the next day and I said, I'm going back to my pre-med. So that's how I went into medicine. And all the time I would hope I fail the entrance exams, then I can go back to my English. But I didn't fail and I got into medicine. I think it was all destiny. I don't think it was anyone else. And then once you join medicine, you've got to leave everything. It's got to be shelved for a lifetime. My writing, my art, everything. They took a second place. It was natural.
All right. Yeah, actually, it is destiny. You know, what you are meant to do, what you're destined to do, you will do that.
Yes.
And that's how it is. That's life. Yeah.
I know. I know.
So tell me, any journey, any life journey is fraught with challenges. You know, we face obstacles, hurdles, challenges all along. And we women, of course, sometimes, or in fact, most of the times, also, have to deal with challenges because of our gender. So could you elaborate on some of the challenges that you faced during your journey? And of course, if some of them were gender related.
I think gender related, no. I would say being like, I have finished 41 years of practice. I
Okay.
would not say, maybe medicine is a field where gender bias isn't there much.
Okay.
All my colleagues say that too, So I think medicine is one field. Maybe I've never worked in a corporate circle, but
Yeah.
medicine, I know I never faced, whether in my family or outside. I don't think I faced any gender bias, but there is,
Of
as
course.
my patients, because I've connected with a lot of patients, there
Mm.
is a lot of gender bias.
Yeah.
And women are a second sex wherever you go, they are. So
Mm.
personally, I have not faced any. I would say that. I've never been held back because I'm a female.
Okay. All right. Okay. But what about other kinds of challenges in your journey?
Challenges, yes, there were.
Mm.
Because my father died just when I was very young. I
Okay.
was 27 when he died. He died on the road. So
Okay.
that was a challenge, and he died on the road. So there were a lot of disruptions in personal life, family life, my parents. Like that was a moment of great disruption.
Mm.
Then my clinic, of course, I didn't want to start this clinic. There was no way, but it was my father's wish. As soon as I graduated, he said, you got to serve the poor. And I was used to a very urban lifestyle,
Mm.
very fashionable, very urban. I was used to the luxuries of life. So to go and serve in a rural area
Yeah.
it completely devastated me, completely.
Okay.
Because I had to change my dialect, I had to change my wardrobe, I had to dress up in cotton saris,
Yeah.
because otherwise I won't fit in a rural population. I
Right.
was 25 when I started my practice, and
Mm.
the patients were coming and touching my feet. So
Mm.
I had to wear those thick cotton saris, long blouses. I had to tie up my hair in a bun. I
Mm.
was a different person completely.
All right. And while you were there in the rural areas, any particular challenge that comes to your mind?
Yes, there were, because I was all alone. And when one is used to a big hospital like I was in Kalavati, you have 5, 6 nurses helping you. You have consultants, you can ask something if a child is dying. But here I was all alone. And if a child is very serious, then I have to decide what to give, what not to give. And one is very young, like you don't graduate knowing anything. You just graduate as a doctor, but you're not taught to practice.
Yeah.
That you learn on the way.
Hmm.
So there were big challenges, yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. So if you were to look back on your life, who do you think has been your biggest inspiration or a mentor or a role model for you?
Okay. I think I would say my father. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because during that time, I don't ever remember him being upset. He tried the positive reinforcement technique. I don't know how he knew about it, because I don't think there was awareness about it at that time,
Okay.
in the 70s or 60s,
Yeah.
But he tried the positive reinforcement because I was good at studies. I mean, getting good marks wasn't tough for me. Somehow, I was lucky, I think. So he would give me anything. I could ask for anything if I got good marks, So
Okay.
that turn of and my brothers were not so good at getting marks, So I got all the attention. I got to go out in the evenings. I got to buy clothes. I got to do everything, unquestioning. So
Okay.
that worked as I think, inspiration for me to work harder. I didn't
Yeah.
want to displease him, and I didn't want to do anything wrong. I didn't lie to even once. I didn't not tell my parents about anything when I was an adolescent. I was in college. I would share everything with them,
Okay. Okay. So very good relationship, because when you can, I mean, full of trust and, faith and belief,
Yeah,
if you can
yeah.
share everything with your parents and if they trust you, I think it's very, very beautiful. So, okay. So this
Yeah.
definitely
And secondly is my husband, who's my mentor, I would say. He's a bit senior to me, and he was in academics. So every time time I got stuck in the clinic, I would just call him up. He was the only person I could turn to for help. Like if I get a huge breast abscess, since he's a surgeon, my husband, I would if I've never done a breast abscess before, there I'm standing, this patient is crying, she's got a huge pus abscess or a pus. I would just call him, what do I do? And he says, go get a plate, give her a neck, and the pus will just rush. So he would be on the phone and guide me till I bandaged the patient, got her okay. He would be on the phone patiently,
Okay. Wonderful. All right. So tell me, you are a successful author as well as a successful doctor. So if you were to share 3 tips, quick tips for someone who's aspiring to be a doctor, what would those be? And once you tell us those, then I would also like you to share 3 tips for being a successful author.
Okay. So 3 tips for being a successful doctor or
Yeah.
an author or
So
a doctor?
3 each.
Oh, 3 each. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think for being a successful doctor, just listen and be with the patient. Empathy is number 1.
Okay.
I say this to all the young doctors. Empathy is number 1. Just listen to your patient and do not ignore when they're talking to you. Be with them. That's what most doctors are neglecting these days. That's why you hear of so many physical assaults. You hear of litigations. I think if you give the patient their time and don't let them, my motto was not to let any patient unhappy out of my clinic.
Okay.
Whether I need to call them back, I ask them what's the reason, why aren't you smiling? For me, a smile was the most important.
Okay.
Whether it's a rickshaw puller, because I had all villagers.
Yeah.
It could be anybody. They don't have to be rich. And sometimes even if they say, I can't afford it, but I want you to treat me. I said, come, it's fine.
Yeah.
I would do that.
Okay. And what else as a doctor?
So as a doctor, so empathy, compassion, listening to them, giving them time. I think these are the soft skills are the most important. Your degrees don't matter. Patients they don't know that you got 10 degrees, they don't care about it. You can't shut up your patients. No, I know better. You can't do that.
Okay. And what about as a successful author?
An author?
Yeah.
I can just say one thing I would say as an author. When I was writing my book, that was my only thing I was you have to open your heart out callously. Be callous with yourself. If you are not honest, if you don't put out your heart in the book, don't expect others to open their heart to it.
Okay. All right.
I feel that.
Okay.
That's why the reviews I got were that this book is so unfiltered. I hope she doesn't get into trouble.
And anything else? So that's one tip. You have to pour your heart out. And 2 more?
2 more. Okay. So second is, I think that's what I do. Maybe I know a lot of authors don't do it. So what I do is when I'm writing my book, I don't have a reader in mind, especially this book when I wrote. I don't have any reader in mind. So when they ask, what is your readership going to be? If you start thinking who your reader will be, your craft is I feel stunted. It gets stunted, That's what I feel. And you should not think, is it in fashion, this book? Will it do? What are the publishers asking? If you start playing to the market forces, you are against stunted, I feel. So I just do what I want to. I don't care if my book is a bestseller, how many copies will it sell, what they want. I don't. I think we should not. As writers, we should not think of those things.
Okay, great. So of course, like everyone else, you have a personal side to your life and you also have a professional side. And I think most of the times are struggling to balance the two. And while men also have to do it, women find it a little harder because of, the extra responsibilities that we have. So how do you do that in your life? How do you balance the two sides?
Sangeeta, I feel you keep reading about this. These days is such a popular thing, work-life balance. This word has become like a magic word. I feel like for me, there is no such thing as a work-life balance. If
Okay.
you're working and you have children, you have a family, especially young children,
Yeah.
school going, college going, and their problems get bigger as they grow older. They don't go away,
They don't.
So I feel work-life balance is a myth.
Okay.
Your life is always a mess. My life was always a mess. I mean, your hair, your clothes, everything sucks most of the times, because you're so busy putting things together, getting your kids to bed on time, getting their homework done, getting their projects done. It's a tough battle. And then go back and see those patients come back. I mean, the travel time, everything kills you. I think people who say I have a good balance, I would like to ask them, how did you get it? I did get it.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So, disappointments, failures, setbacks are a part and parcel of our lives. We face them all the time, whether we like it or we don't. So, how do you kind of get back after you face something like this? I mean, there's a setback in your life, and how do you just kind of then bounce back after that?
Okay, I feel, Sangeeta, like women, again, they think they're superwomen. You don't have to be a superwoman all the time. I
Yeah.
realized it at this age. Even I was like thinking I need to be a superwoman. I need to be the best at everything. My home has to be clean. But when setbacks happen, they do happen to everyone.
Yeah.
Life doesn't go smoothly for anyone. Whatever you may see on social media, whatever you may see anywhere, it doesn't go smoothly for anyone.
Yeah.
Best is when I'm talking of bad setbacks, not small ones,
Okay.
You get it? Like that ones means like my clinic got demolished completely.
Oh,
So that's like something happened after my father died, it got demolished. So I feel when setbacks happen, allow yourself to sit at home, to cry, to be weak, to reorganize your thoughts, and get in touch with your emotions. Give yourself some time. Don't keep trying, trying to be brave. No, I'm not crying, Don't try to be strong all the time. Let yourself be weak, and then you rise and shine. Give yourself that time, a week or 10 days. Then you shine, make your plan, and you get up.
That's actually so true. There is no point in running away from what has happened. I mean, what has happened has happened. So that
Yes.
acceptance has to be there. And if you like need to shed tears, or if you need to spend time with yourself while you come to terms with what has happened, just
True.
do and then move on. Yes, there is no
True.
point running away from what's happened.
And you can't change what has happened. So
Absolutely.
might as well accept it and move. And it's always for the better, you will be strong.
Correct.
When my clinic got demolished, then I cried for a year because they wouldn't let me construct it. It was some legal problem,
Okay.
Then 1 year later, then I have a bigger and a better clinic,
Yes, yes, yes. I always say that, that you always move forwards in life,
Yeah.
but understand it only backwards. There is always a reason why things happen.
Yes.
At that point, you don't know the reason, but
Yes.
there is something behind it.
But things do fall in place.
Yes.
People have to believe that they will fall in place. That's
Absolutely.
what I tell my children, I tell everyone. You
Yeah.
may see darkness all around you, but there's a meaning to the darkness.
Absolutely. Correct, correct. Okay. So, of course, you as a young girl, of course, was, like being, good in academics and also then pursuing a career of your choice ultimately. And of course, those were different times also. But today, when we look at the young people around us, especially the young girls, because of social media, because of so much of exposure and awareness, there is, I feel, like an information overload. You just don't know what to do, how to make sense of all that. But yet, you've got a life to lead and you want to lead it well. So, what would you like to offer as a piece of advice to these young girls who are on the threshold of their personal and professional lives?
See, I have a daughter who's young, and
Hmm.
that's the advice, and I get young girls as my patients too.
Yeah, yeah.
What I'm finding now is that they don't have that concept of the self-esteem and pride, which we grew up with. I feel that they're lacking it.
Hmm.
And that's why they get carried away by all social media and latest fashion. They get carried away very fast because they need to be one up with their friends, or even in schools, I see, South Delhi schools, they need to be one up. There was this girl, I went to one South Delhi school for a counseling session.
Yeah.
She came to me, she was, I think, in the ninth standard or 10. She
Okay.
says, I'm going to commit suicide in the next week.
Oh my
I
God.
said, why? I
Huh.
said, why? So she says, I'm just telling you. I said, why? She
Hmm.
says, my mom doesn't let me thread my upper lip, and
Oh.
all the boys laugh at me in the school. I can't come to school any longer.
Oh
Can
my
you
God.
imagine?
Oh my God.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
These are the things that bother these girls.
Yeah.
So all I say is, when you said piece of advice, I just tell them, wear a crown, pretend you're wearing a crown. You have a pride. Do the best. You may not be the best. Tell yourself, I'm not the best. I'm not the prettiest. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm trying my best and I'm doing my best, and I will get better and better every single day. That should be the aim.
Yes. Yes.
Instead of trying to copy your friends or whatever.
Yes, I think that is very, very important. I mean, maybe, the elders in the family, the mothers or the elder sisters or someone needs to sit them down and explain that what you see is not reality. So believe in yourself, have faith in yourself. That is very, very important. All right. So, Balesh, we look around us and we find that women are doing extremely well in different walks of life. And not only well, I mean, they're rising to the top. But despite that, we also know that there are several challenges, several barriers that they still have to face. So, again, if you were to look around us, what are some of these barriers which instantly come to your mind?
I don't know, Sangeeta. I call myself a feminist, but
Okay.
people my views may not match with the purely bred feminists.
Okay.
I feel most of the barriers the women create themselves. I
Okay.
feel that. How? Why? Because the women, like, if it is an intense woman, she is focused, she is ambitious, she is talented, she is qualified. I feel the barriers will be very few for her. As you see, we have women heading most of the banks.
Yeah.
We have women heading so many institutions.
Right.
Only thing, why is the barriers there when women, they try to, I feel like a small thing I may say, maybe it's wrong, I don't know.
No,
See, you don't see men with open shirt buttons in any corporate formal settings. You see women in figure-hugging clothes. You see women a button open. Like, you don't need to play on your body language.
Right.
The moment you play on your body language, you create a barrier for yourself. You have to take the eye and the gaze away from yourself. Then people will look at your brain and what you're capable of. That's what I mean.
Oh,
Maybe like there are 1 or 2% cases, I'm sure, where I'm wrong. I'm sure of that. I can't generalize for 100%.
Yeah.
But I think even in offices, if a woman is like very matter-of-factly, she walks in with the proper clothes, there is no man can dare to insult her.
Okay. So you think that most of these barriers that women face have been created by them only, or you think that
I feel that most
society doesn't have a role to play in this?
in what
Society does not have a role to play in this?
society does, of course it does. I feel the gender discrimination happens right from day one a girl is born. So parents have to be careful of it. They buy her pink toys. See, a girl is born, even in I'm not talking of the economically backward people.
Yeah.
Even in ours, a girl will get pink clothes, she'll get pink. Even in the toy shops, you see, girls' line is always dolls. The boys are always trucks and things. Which parent will buy a truck for a girl? Tell me. And when a girl gets dirty, they say, oh my God, you dirtied your frock. And a boy gets dirty, they say, oh, he's a boy. You see the parents, that's where the divide happens. If we take care of our girls, they take care of themselves. I feel that.
That is true. It starts from the very beginning, and you are so true.
Yeah.
Choice of toys is the first thing, and the colors.
But
That is where you are putting that into anybody,
exactly.
whether it's a boy or a girl. They are not born with it. They don't know this. It is we as parents.
Exactly. Yeah. Girls are just taught to be nice, to smile, and then they say, oh, pretty smile, pretty hair. Why are we talking about prettiness in a girl? Why don't we say, what beautiful drawing you've made? What a lovely essay you've written? I feel the stress on prettiness is a lot in all societies.
Right. So in this, when we are trying to not only raise our voices, but we are also trying to make people aware of these biases so that they can be removed from the society, or at least reduced, and we can move towards a gender inclusive world. What role do women's voices play in that? Or maybe, the kind of platform that we are on today, what role can they play in, helping remove or reduce these disparities?
You mean women in workplaces or at home?
Oh, yes, women getting together and raising their voices, or even what we are doing right now. How do you think this can help?
I think it all comes down to body language, what you're doing, continue doing. The pride and self-esteem of women is most important. And I have seen women, I admire them. Like the women who are in good places, I've seen head of departments in medicine, I mean, the way they conduct themselves, they have 10 men bowing down to them, just because everyone accepts their talent, accepts their capability. I feel a woman has agreed, like, I know you have, it's not in medicine though, but in other fields, because my daughter is in marketing, you need to be slightly better than the men, definitely, to be at the same place.
And when women get together and talk about it as a community, do you think that makes it easier for them to make the society aware of what is wrong with the way the societal perceptions or beliefs?
No, I think the men have to be speaking. Men have to be more vocal. Even you see after the KG car case, it was the women who were getting together, women who were saying, I'm doing this. I didn't see many male voices saying, no, it was bad what happened. I was like, we all as medicos were looking, why aren't the male medicos coming up? Though I know in Calcutta they did come out. But when anything happens, the males just keep quiet. Even in the office, if you see, if there's something unfair happens in the office to a female, it's the man who has to come up. If 4 females get together, it's not effective. But if the men gather around, no, this should not happen, then it will not happen. Same as in the family, a father has to get up, and say, no, this will not happen to my daughter. Then it will not happen.
Yes. Yeah, that actually is a very, very valid point. Men also have to do this. I mean, women are doing what they are doing, but they also...
They are doing it.
Yes. All right. So, Balesh, nowadays, and especially post-COVID, there is a lot of talk and a lot of conversations happening around mental health of people. I mean, there is a greater acceptance, awareness. People are, kind of realizing that this is a big issue, and they are not shying away from talking about it. But then again, men's mental health issues are different from what women have to face. And considering, the societies that we live in, do you think that women's mental health issues do not get as much attention as the men's issues?
Of course. See, women's health issues, let me just take off the common ones. Common is pain during menstruation, childbirth, postpartum depression, and any other, like she could be normally depressed. These are all considered women's issues. Nobody says this depression. Nobody takes her for treatment ever. Like menstruation pain is considered as bad as a pain of a heart attack. But nobody bothers. She's still expected to come to office. and no one accepts it, that it can be bad that she's bedridden for 2 days, Same as with this thing, menopausal problems. It's all a womanly thing. And it's been going on since Freud, This Freudian theory is hysteria. It's labeled as hysteria and she's treated as hysteria. Even in my practice, they take her for a jhara, to the Sadhu Baba. So they do a jhara for her. If she has pain or even pain during childbirth. Like the mother-in-law herself comes and says, "Humne to 4 bachche paida kiye, what are you doing? Why are you crying?" It's not even normal to cry.
Right.
So it's crazy, That I really feel strongly, very strongly about. And I mentioned in this about postpartum depression. How it is even in educated families. Like I went through it. And my husband being a doctor, he could recognize it.
Yeah.
No one recognized it. No one, not even my friends, colleagues. It's just not accepted. And you have to deal with it yourself.
Right.
Once I recognized it myself, I knew what was happening to me. But then I've started recognizing in my patients. And I've started talking to their husbands about it, their mother-in-laws about it, how to deal with it, So you just need to be aware and mindful of it. It's an entity. It's not. So when women's problems are overlooked, even the menopausal, like look at, it's perimenopausal, premenopausal, it's 5-6 years of those problems.
Yes.
And how many people give them benefit of treatment or even sympathy or empathy?
Very few. They don't. It is, I think, somewhere normalized that it has been happening. It will continue to happen. And before you, after you will have faced. So, what's so special about it? So it's like normal, And I think
it's a woman's thing. Woman's thing. That's all.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. Okay. So, Balesh, moving to a slightly different tangent. I mean, of course, you've done it yourself. I have also done it, which is that in our midlives, we decided to take up something else, another career option, in addition to what we were doing. So like you took writing, right? And of course, as I understand, it was something that you always wanted to do, but were not able to do it in the initial years. And like that, we see a lot of people doing it nowadays. So what does it tell you about the way the society is progressing? I mean, it's not as though earlier people didn't have hobbies. It's just that they stuck to their whatever profession they had chosen at the beginning, they just stuck to it for the rest of their lives. But now it's no longer happening. So what do you have to say about that?
I think this is a very healthy trend which I'm seeing, especially after COVID. I think COVID has been a game changer for most people. Though it was a sad time for a lot of people. Let's accept that because of the tragedies that happened. But it's been a game changer for a lot of people. And you see, there are I call them COVID authors. So a lot of authors have come out, maybe out of the closet, and I think it's a very healthy sign. And what happens in midlife is that everyone reaches a plateau. During midlife, I don't know, I term is around 45, 50. So that's when your kids are grown up and you don't have much incentive to work, and you've reached where you had to reach. There's nowhere higher to go. So there's a plateau. And then there's a vacuum. So best is to sit back, even if you didn't have any hobbies earlier. If you did, very good. You can rekindle those passions. Or if you didn't have, you can develop new ones. Go to the library, do whatever. I think a lot of people are doing it. I think which is a very good sign. Men and women both.
So Balesh, the final question. Looking ahead, what are your goals and aspirations for the future, both personally and professionally?
Professionally, I plan to, and I have reduced my work, my medical work.
Okay.
And I intend to become a full-time author.
All right.
And also increase my art practice.
Okay, great. All right. Okay.
So right now I'm writing like fiction. So I've got 4 scripts ready already.
Wow.
I've been working hard. And I want to explore more genres actually. Because this was non-fiction, poetry I write, I've explored that. So I want to try fiction and then children's books, moral children's books, I think. Yeah.
All right, all right. So all the best to you. Yeah. And of course, hoping to see many, many more books.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So now we come to the rapid fire round. 5 quick questions, 5 quick answers. Yeah. All right.
I'm pretty bad at these though.
Don't worry. It is simple questions. All right. So of course you are a writer, you're an author, so which means you read as well. So simple question, which is your favorite genre to read?
I like nonfiction and autobiographies. I've been reading that a lot.
Okay.
Though I read fiction too, but I prefer nonfiction.
All right. Next, which is your favorite writing spot?
My writing table right now, because
right.
my children gifted it to me. They sent it during COVID,
Okay.
And my son said, if you don't write your book now, you never will. And they sent a table to me.
All right.
So that's my favorite spot.
How sweet. Okay. All right. The next one. Which is the last book that made you cry or laugh out loud?
Last book that made me cry. I can't really say that.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm reading Little Children. That's
Okay.
a very touching, heartwarming book. I mean, not probably like I don't cry too often these days.
Okay.
So it's called Little Children by Tom Perrotta. It's a wonderful book. And I'm really like going on it leisurely because I'm enjoying each page and I don't want to finish. So I'm reading it very slowly.
All right. Okay. Next one. If you could meet any fictional character, who would that be?
Gatsby.
Oh, all right.
I would drum some sense into him.
All right. And the final one. One book you wish you had written.
Unaccustomed Earth, I mean, which I feel I can write.
Okay.
I mean, I won't say a book like War and Peace, which I know I can't write. I'm not capable of it. But Unaccustomed Earth by Champaleri, I think it was, I could have written that book.
All right. Okay.
And I wished I had written it.
All right. Okay. Maybe you'll write something, similar sometime in life. You never know.
Because that's my cup of tea. I like real life, small things, nothing too big. But still it makes a difference.
Yes, of course. It definitely does. So, Balesh, this brings us to the end of this conversation. Of course, as usual, I mean, I always feel that every woman brings so much of diversity and a different perspective to some of the questions which I ask most of them. And of course, you've added your 2 bits. Absolutely wonderful having you on the show. I hope you enjoyed it as well.
I loved your questions, Sangeeta. They were so different from the other interviews I've had. These are very deep and penetrating questions.
I'm
glad you asked them. Thank you.
I'm so glad. And thank you for being here.
Thank you for tuning in to the AboutHer Show. If you enjoyed this episode, there's plenty more from where that came from. Our previous guests have shared some amazing stories, so be sure to catch up on past episodes. To keep up with our inspiring conversations and to never miss an update, hit subscribe, rate, review, and share the love. Follow us on social media for some great content, and don't forget to check out our website www.aboutherbysangeeta.com for stories that resonate, inspire, and empower. Know a remarkable woman or an inspiring man blazing a trail? We'd love to hear from you. Drop us a note at web.abouther@gmail.com and let's bring their story to life on the AboutHer Show.